Let's dance. حبيبي ولا على بال شو. Do you remember the song, man?
I do, but my singing voice is horrible.
Hello everyone and welcome to Life After with Dana and Amal.
We're going to discuss everything and anything
Where people feel comfortable to listen to people with
similar situations or views.
a safe word. Life After with Dana and Amal. Bitter conversations with a sweet ending. Just like a pineapple. Actually, we googled it. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode with Life After with Dana and Amal.
Hey.
Guys, we are back with one of a very good friend of mine, Hasan Badwan.
Hello.
Hey, Hasan.
Hi, dudes.
Hi,
How's
dude.
it going?
I'm so happy you're here, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This
Thank
is
you for coming. Wallah.
real pleasure.
Yep.
It is
Yeah, thank you.
So today is a very, very exciting episode,
100%.
right? Yeah. Today we're going to talk about life after starting my own business.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, obviously, to start your own business, at some times, like some cases, you need to quit your job, right? 'Cause unless you're Superman and you're focused on
Both.
right?
Yeah. Before we go forward with
Okay.
this, I want to say something that's very important.
Let's-
So I want you to feel as comfortable as possible
Yes.
and use whatever language whatever language you want. And if you feel like we're crossing the line in certain questions, if you feel like you want to curse,
What do we use? What do we use?
we use pineapple.
Pineapple.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
And Piney's here to moderate.
Piney.
Piney.
yeah, do you
I
like the
it.
name?
Yeah.
So Piney has siblings زي ما انت شايف يعني.
Nice.
So yeah, so as long I just want you to feel comfortable, and whenever you feel like anything's crossing the line,
Just flag it.
Pineapple.
Just hit
Pineapple.
Piney.
just
Okay.
yeah.
We're aggressive in this episode. We woke up using violence. We chose violence today. So, Hasan,
Yes.
give us a brief intro and then talk to us. Tell us about your business briefly.
All right. Thank you. My name is Hasan, and I am the founder of a company called Akamar, founded in 2020. Right
It's
in
a
the
corona
middle
baby.
of
It's a corona
the-
baby. It's a
yeah,
COVID baby.
literally is. Actually, it really does feel like having another kid.
Oh.
It's
I
no,
could
not
imagine.
in a nice way. Just takes up a lot of energy and time and patience.
Sleepless nights.
A lot of sleepless nights. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
So basically, as a firm, we consult companies and organizations on customer experience.
Okay.
So how do you leverage your customer data? How do you prepare customer journeys? How do you re-architect your business so you can go from a business that was probably traditionally run to something that is ready for the digital era?
Ooh,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
that sounds so cool.
Yeah. Especially now, everything is being digitalized, right? So
Yeah,
it would make perfect sense.
Yeah, a lot of companies are, especially with Corona, companies realized that this was non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And I think, Corona didn't change anything. Companies were heading in this direction anyways.
But
True.
it speeded
It-
up.
yeah, exactly.
It was like a catalyst.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, crazy timing, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, Hasan.
Yes.
So you told us about your business. How did it start?
Okay, so it's kind of hard to answer that question because I realized along the way that if you're truly entrepreneurial,
Okay.
then you've always been thinking about starting a business at some point.
Yeah.
True.
And you know how like if a parent is like, for example, an engineer, the kids grow up to become engineers. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Nice.
So my dad was an entrepreneur. My mom worked with him a lot, so she was very entrepreneurial. My uncle, entrepreneur. My grandfather, entrepreneur. So I
It's a
just kind of
family thing.
assumed that I would end up
Yeah.
going down that route at some point anyways.
So it's not the circumstance that led you to this point. It's just خلاص you grew up having this idea and خلاص
Yeah, there
eventually
was
I
there was like an expectation in myself that, at some point I would become my own boss in a way.
will. Okay.
I think the circumstances put you closer,
Yeah.
right? Like forced you into this. Like
Yeah, so there was a time towards the end where I was planning on starting something anyways.
Okay.
And I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do, follow my passions, blah, 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 blah. And then coronavirus hit. It was a real pineapple.
It really was. It was the pineapple.
Pineapple in a pineapple.
Yeah.
Pineappled my life.
I like that. I'm gonna use that.
So yeah, I mean, it was kind of what's gonna happen first? Am I going to leave willingly, or am I going to be pineappled by coronavirus?
Yeah.
And in that particular situation, unfortunately, I was
Pineapple.
like so many people were.
So let go, basically.
I was let go. It is what it is. I understand. I think in their situation, I would have made the same decision. So I think it was a logical move by everyone. And the good thing is, because I was already thinking about this kind of stuff, the next day I had a job.
Perfect.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh my God, what am I going to do? It was sort of like, okay, now I can focus
Exactly.
100% on the thing that I really want to do.
Didn't it piss you off? Like, what? Wasn't it annoying?
You know, the moment that it happened, they did it because we were working from home. So it happened over Teams.
Oh, okay.
It's even worse.
Honestly, it was fine.
Technology.
Really?
Because it happened, it saved me a drive, to be honest. You know?
Yeah, let's look at it this way.
Yeah. So I remember I'll never forget this. It happened like around like 3 p.m.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay?
They waited till midday.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's totally cool. Honestly, it's totally cool.
All right.
Because it worked out. As they were doing it, so we live in a compound with a swimming pool, okay, for the compound. And my daughter, who was 4 at the time, was walking down the stairs in her swimming suit to go swimming.
Okay.
And they were doing that as she was walking down the stairs. And I sat there, I was like, you know what? It's not the end of the world. Like, I finally have time to, like, hang out with my kids.
Exactly.
So they gave me the news. I literally closed my computer and I just went swimming. It was very liberating. It was like, I can finally be home.
That changed your
I can be present with my kids. I can be home with my wife. I can be like mentally present for food, because there were a lot of times where like we would sit together, but we weren't together.
Yeah.
We always have our laptops on. Hatta when we go out, it's like, it's always there.
If it's not the laptop, it's the phone.
It's the phone, it's everything.
And the
it's
nature
always
of your
that pressure
job.
back here, you know what I'm saying?
The nature of your job was quite
Demanding.
pressuring,
Yeah,
right?
I was
demanding.
in
We
a
always
marketing
have,
firm,
Yeah, you can't like
So-
actually log off at 6 or 5. You know, you can't like done.
And working from home kind of made it worse, because
Yeah,
it was sort of like,
100%.
oh, you're home. Just open your laptop and do
and
this
work.
thing. You know?
What made you to choose this perspective to go you could have like dwelled on it وإنه يا الله وكذا بس
Yeah.
but what made you choose not to go for a perspective that's like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna choose that I'm gonna spend more time with my family?
It's not worth the energy. If you think about it, like I don't owe them anything. Why should I spend family time thinking about people who are no longer colleagues, people who are no longer clients?
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't, there's no obligation towards them. So
Yeah.
why give them that time and energy?
True.
And what, to what end? What am I hoping to achieve by dwelling on it? Nothing's going to happen. So yeah, I might as well use the time that I have to be
Focus
with my
on
kids.
something else, something more
to be happy.
positive.
Yeah.
Exactly, 100%.
So
What was an important factor in starting all of this? What kept you going? You said you started in 2020, right? And it's almost been 2 years.
yeah.
Or over a year, we could say. So what kept you going? What was the factor?
I kept imagining myself closing down shop and going back to traditional employment. There's nothing wrong with traditional employment, but I don't think that I could do that anymore. The idea that I would go and enter a company again and be part of a really
9 to 6 and
tall structure,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Structure not building wise, but the organization.
hierarchy.
Yeah, the hierarchy. This might sound really weird, but we got to a point in our lives where every morning my wife and I have coffee together.
Oh, that's so cute.
You know what I'm saying? You can't do that if you're traditionally employed. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And little things like that, it makes you stop and say, okay, it's worth pushing through. It's worth. I have lunch every afternoon with my kids.
Yeah.
Like things like this you can't put a price tag on that.
No.
So when you sit there and you say, okay, the other side of the coin is that you're going to be maybe more stable, better insurance and more stable salary and blah, blah,
Less
blah.
risk. Yeah.
Less risk, but you lose on all these little tiny things that
Which
give your
matters
life
so much.
a little bit more
Yeah.
happiness,
Value.
you know, and
Yeah.
value. These little things, you know, that's the real motivation. If I'm being honest here, if I were to compare myself to someone who is my age with my experience, I'm pretty sure that I'm underpaid. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So I'm not doing this for the money.
Mm-mm.
You know, I'm doing this for the self-satisfaction. You know, this gives me something that I can't get, or I wasn't able to get with traditional employment.
Yeah.
And so it's these things. When push comes to shove, you have to, you know, ask yourself, you know, do you really want to go back? And for some people, they do, which is, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I know people who've done that.
Yep.
Started a business, went back, got amazing jobs with some of the biggest companies in the world. Amazing, you know? And it's great for them. I'm not sure that I could do that, you know? So I hope that I don't eat these words in a few years.
See, whether it happens or not, it's not an issue. But at least for the time being, for now, you don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly understandable, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
So, plus I think what you're doing is completely different, because the people that I know that have returned to like corporate life and stuff mainly had like events businesses and stuff like that, you know? It wasn't like a proper product or proper service that they were offering to businesses and clients and stuff. So, and honestly, your idea is quite interesting. I've not heard of it in the market.
Yeah.
Maybe I've not searched, but I've not heard of it. And it is important. And there are a lot of companies that are moving
100%.
towards that.
100%.
Yeah.
Corona hit, you got let go. You're like, خلاص, this is a chance for me to go for it. Did you receive a lot of support? What was your family's reactions? All of that.
Because I was talking about this idea a lot with my family, they were sort of like, okay, let's get on with the job, you know?
Okay.
So they were very supportive.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of knew that eventually I would go down this road anyways. So my parents were very supportive. My wife was incredible. Seriously, legit, she's my partner and everything,
So
you know?
nice. That's so cool.
I want to give a
Cute.
shout. Lara, I love you.
Oh, Lara, I love you too.
I also love you. I'll meet you soon, hopefully.
No one said you shouldn't be doing this. No
True.
one was like, you should be applying for work just in case. It was sort of like,
Just sit down,
Just
focus on this,
put all
work
your
on
energy
it.
into it
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
I just have a question. So,
Just one question?
for now,
That's
what made you like follow with this idea? Like, what did you notice that's missing in the market? Why did you choose this in particular?
No, that's a great question. Well, we kind of all felt it. You know, we all had to kind of digitally transform our lives. And that was on an individual level. Imagine organizations.
True.
And it's happening on every level, right? It's happening not just with sales, which was a big focus with like, you know, Salesforce and CRMs, or finance. It's happening on every level in every department.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to digitally transform.
100%.
So and it's also like a deep passion of mine. So
عصفورين بحجر.
seriously,
Exactly, yeah.
you know, I remember a few years ago, I started getting into like programming and Python, and to practice, I would do a lot of like data projects, and I would freelance sometimes, not sometimes, usually it was sort of like for free. Like I'd go up to a company, give me your data, let me help you out, let me try to figure out what's going on with your company, we'd do some customer segmentations and blah, blah, blah. And don't pay me for it. I just want the experience.
Oof.
So this is something that I used to do for free at late hours. And now I'm able to dedicate my life to it, you know? So
And actually get paid for it.
hopefully. That's the hope, yeah.
Yeah.
So how many employees do you have?
Yes.
That's an interesting question. Because the definition of where your organization starts and stops sometimes can be a little fluid. When you have partnerships here, sometimes you collaborate with other companies. Maybe you hire freelancers for certain projects. So it's very hard to pin down this kind of a number. I would say stable, you know, semi-permanent would be, myself and maybe 3 others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you do need the support if you get like a big project, for example.
Exactly,
You do need
yeah.
someone who's already familiar with the processes in and out
Exactly.
and all of that.
And you
so
can't do everything. Like you can't build your business and deliver at the same time.
Yeah.
Because
Like
one
not
is
100%
forward
at
thinking
least,
and
right?
one is day to day.
Yeah.
So you can't do both. You have to have someone do one and you do the other.
Is
So definitely, I mean, you discovered that very early on. You cannot do this alone.
Mm-hmm.
You need you need a network. You need support. You need people to collaborate with to
Yeah.
complement you. Yeah, definitely.
And it's all remotely, صح?
For the most part, yeah, we want to be responsible. You know, we could work together face to face, but you know, some people are not based in the UAE. Some
Okay.
people are.
Which is smart صراحة.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. You know, I wanted to work with people that I trusted and that were able to deliver, but
Yeah.
also the attitude. This is the most important thing,
100%.
because you can always teach someone hard skills. You can't teach someone good attitude.
No.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
So that's the biggest thing that I look for. So if you find someone like that, to me it doesn't matter where they sit, but you know,
As long as you get the job done.
Yeah.
exactly.
Properly.
So as much as possible, we try to keep things safe. And I think one thing that worked in our favor with COVID is that it taught clients and suppliers that it's okay to work remotely.
Yeah.
Or to work in a more distributed fashion.
I mean, they abused it, but it's fine.
Dana talking about her sufferings.
Wallah, I think it was, I'm not gonna get into that صراحة, but it's true. What was the fear of yours? Like, did you ever fear that you're gonna fail?
Oh man.
Failure?
I think this question by itself will take the whole podcast. Like starting your own business is like jumping out of an airplane
It's a big risk.
and not knowing whether or not you have a parachute in your bag.
True.
It's
That's a
terrifying.
Good one. That's a good way.
It's
to
really
put it.
terrifying.
Yeah.
You think about it like this: if you're employed with a company, especially a big company, okay, you know that by the 25th of the month you're getting your salary. Okay, I don't have that guarantee at all.
Yeah.
Even till now,
Yeah.
because you know you're relying on projects. You know,
Coming in, yeah.
you really start to feel the fact that clients pay
Bills.
your salary.
Yeah.
We all kind of know it as a fact, but you really start to feel it when you're running your own business.
صح.
When you're sitting there invoicing someone and you're saying, please pay me on time. Because if you don't pay me on time, I don't have cash to pay my employees,
Of course.
you know, or to pay myself.
Yeah.
And it's not always a guarantee that, you know, there were times where it's like, okay, at this month, I think that I'm going to be running low on cash. I need to do something about that now. And that pressure is very
It's constant.
daunting. Yeah.
Especially it's like with family and
With family, with responsibilities, it's very terrifying. And then you're there's always this, you know, okay, we all know that digital transformation is necessary,
and it's happening. Yeah.
but is this really the right move? Should I go back to a company and
you
have
always
a
have
guaranteed
this
salary? Yeah, of course, you know. Like no, I don't always have this, especially now, you know. But there's always this, you know, cost benefit that you have to think. You know, the cost of being independent. I mean, the benefit of being independent, is it worth the cost of all this turbulence? Especially early on. Early on, you know, day one, you don't have a salary
Yeah.
because you don't have clients. So what do you do? What do you do in that situation?
You're putting so much from your own, and it's
Yes.
like ما بتعرف إذا it's gonna come back or not. And it's just
Exactly.
there. It's just in the air. Like,
Exactly.
am I gonna do it
You
today?
know?
Yeah.
There's the fear of, you know, did I make the right? Am I okay? I made the right decision opening a company. Is this the right direction?
Oh,
That's a fear. Am I spending too much time chasing after this potential client and not other potential clients?
Are you in
That's
the
a fear.
right market as well?
Am
like
I in the right
region,
market?
The country and stuff. So
Am I gonna make, even if I win a project, is it gonna be enough to pay my bills
Yeah.
as a person? And there's always this like imposter syndrome. Like you go in to a meeting, sitting with people who are very qualified, very intelligent, and you're like, you know, there's a real possibility that I'm the least intelligent person in this room. And I have and I have to convince this person that I'm the right guy for the job.
yeah,
Just
That's-
telling yourself.
true.
So all of these things are swirling in your head at a time when you're supposed to be very confident and move forward and that kind of thing. So
Fake it till you make it, bro.
Always.
Yes, but sometimes it's very hard to keep that
There
face.
is,
the
you know what I'm
mentality
saying?
there's a
Yeah.
thin line like between faking it till you make it and then just faking it.
And
you know?
faking it, yeah.
It's like, no, I'm
And being
fine.
like
No,
a
you're
complete
not fine.
fraud,
Trust.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, so.
So yeah, it's I talk about it as if it's in the past. It's not. It's not in the
It's
past.
still
This
happening.
is something
Yeah.
that is ongoing. Until I become a multinational one day.
You are going to be multinational.
You're there. Yeah.
It's always like, you know, you're always maybe one or two crisis points away from complete disaster.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
and because you're the face of the company, you're there at the front lines.
Yeah.
So you see it and you feel it before anyone else does. You know.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Are you
Fear is like your
It's
Best
always
friend.
there. If
Yeah.
fear is not there, then you're not gonna succeed.
it's your senior vice
right?
president. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
if you're the CEO, this is your senior vice
Yeah.
president. Fear is the guy that's always there in your
Yeah.
mind, in your
But
meetings.
by the way, when we started, I remember
Oh my god.
one of the first things we did when we met.
we spoke about our fears.
The first thing I'm
Oh,
like,
nice.
We didn't-
listen,
yeah, we
I'm
didn't
scared
speak
of
about-
this,
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
and we had to
So
put it out there
we had
until
to.
now. I feel like for us, مثلا for me or for Amal, both of us, you give yourself so much pineapple when it's happening.
Pineapple.
You know,
Legit.
you give it so much. You give yourself so much pineapple,
Yeah.
and you go like, okay, Dana, breathe. It's not end of the world.
Mm-mm.
عادي. It will happen. It will خلاص. It's how do you calm yourself down? Like this is my mentality. I just talk to myself.
Yeah.
How do you when the fear hits?
Yeah.
How do you go like, okay, Hasan?
How do you take it and
How
twist
do you
it?
shut the demons?
Yeah.
How do I do that?
The way I see fear, fear is motivation, right? Like if
It can
fear is
be,
not
yeah.
there, then you won't be motivated to do. Because if you're just gonna look at the bright side and the good things and this and that, then you're not looking at the other end, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So fear helps you.
It's a good balance.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
balance. But then it's how you deal with the fear that you receive. Do you
And-
take it and just turn it into negatives? خلاص ولا like how do you turn that into?
Sorry, I'm just gonna if you're not scared, that means that you don't care.
Exactly. There you
هيك
go.
أنا بحس.
Yes.
We're
أنا ما
rhyming.
بخاف
We
from
dropping.
something. That means
We're dropping rhymes.
Hey.
Yeah.
if you're not scared, that you don't
No.
care.
Yeah.
If I don't, if أنا ما بخاف من شغلة, even when my work, if I just خلاص whatever, I'm gonna deliver whatever it is, that means I'm not putting enough effort.
Yeah.
That means
Yeah.
I don't love this thing so much.
Yeah, I think so. There's a difference between that kind of nervous, it's not nervousness. It's like
Anxiousness. maybe.
adrenaline. You know,
Yeah.
like it helps you focus.
Yeah.
There's a difference between that and the terror that you sometimes feel when you start a company. There's pure terror sometimes, and sleepless nights. The sleepless nights aren't driven by how much work you have. It's driven by how do I pay my bills? How do I feed my kids? It's that kind of terror.
Yeah.
And at that, in those moments, you kind of have to say, look, if you crumble under this pressure now, it doesn't just affect your manager or your line manager
family.
or your 360 review. It affects your kids. It affects your wife. It affects your parents. It affects the people in your life.
Of course.
So your choice is crumble or keep going. There's a saying that is a famous saying that I'm sure it sounds much better in Arabic that my dad used to always tell me. Okay, it's from history. You know the General Tariq,
Oh.
right? When they landed in Spain from Morocco, there's a guy. So back in the day,
Sorry, I'm so
okay, no. In Islamic history,
Okay.
okay, there's a general named Tariq.
Okay.
They
هذا
went
لما
from
كانوا
Morocco.
راحوا يحرروا إشي بإسبانيا.
Yeah, they went from Morocco to Spain.
Okay.
And Gibraltar, the southern point of Spain, is named after him, Jabal Tariq. Okay. When they landed on the shores, the story is that he basically told his soldiers, "Your enemy is ahead of you, and the ocean is behind you. March forward." You know what I'm saying? So those are your two choices:
So.
either drown or go forward. So, when you're faced with a situation where the terror is like a tsunami almost, you have to go forward. There's no other option.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There was influencer, like micro influencer, مرة he posted something. He's like, إنه خلاص this is so dramatic, بس basically he's saying if you're lying, خلاص this is your last day. You're lying, خلاص, you're on your deathbed, and all you can see is bubbles of the ideas you've wanted to do. Business, podcast, I don't know, your art gallery, piano career, whatever it is,
Everything, yeah.
stand-up comedy, كل هالأشياء. how many bubbles would be in front of you? And it hit me, and it's like, I'm gonna have so many bubbles.
Yeah.
You're gonna have so many bubbles
True.
because you don't do anything. It's like,
True.
and that was a moment for me. And no, I don't want to have any bubbles before I die. Like I want everything off my bucket list. I want to try everything.
True.
That's a good way to think about it. Yeah.
When you wanted to start, the mental state of it, how pineappled was it?
You know what it's like? It's like you know when you have a crush on someone for like for years,
Yeah.
and you finally start dating them,
Yeah.
Oh!
and the first month is like, wow, dude, I'm
This is
finally dating
amazing.
this person. And then like after the honeymoon is over, you're like, oh my god, this person kind of sucks, right? Like this person, I didn't realize they pick their nose, and they, you know, they have a temper, and they drive me crazy, and sometimes they make me happy, and sometimes they make me miserable. It's like that.
Oof,
It's
I
really
love
like
that.
Like it's not like, I know that a lot of these TV shows and movies and posts on social media, they make it sound like it's
a piece of
amazing,
cake. Yeah.
and that, you know, it's always going to be sunshine and unicorns forever. It's
No.
not. It really isn't. That's why you have to keep going back. You know, is it worth pushing through? Can I do this? For some people it is, and for some people it isn't. There's no judgment either way. You do what's best for you and for your family, but that only comes up because it gets sucky sometimes.
Yeah.
And it gets sucky
lot
before
of-
you realize it does. Like faster than you expect. I know someone who he basically describes himself as like sort of in like a constant state of minor depression. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because this is the reality for him. It's very turbulent. It's very ups and downs, and sometimes it can happen in the span of an afternoon, or even in an hour.
Yeah.
You get an email and you're like, I'm like the boss of the world. I'm gonna kill it, and then like half an hour later, you're like, oh my god,
They're crushing you.
this is horrible. You know,
Yeah.
it happens,
Yeah.
and so you can't just rely on the high to pull you
have to,
through
yeah.
the emotional high. You have to rely on the you know, you have to have a lot of grit. You have to really sit there and say, I'm willing to work 12 hours to make this work.
You have
every
to
day.
want it.
Yeah.
I have a very loose concept of weekends now.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if someone emails me on a Sunday, you know, I work with a lot of people outside of the UAE. Sunday is kind of a work day for me, you know. Late last year, around September, my wife reminded me that I hadn't taken any time off. Like when you're in a company, they remind you. They say, hey, you have these
30
vacation
days,
days and blah, 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 and you should... I completely forgot.
It became a
And she had to
routine.
kind of force me to say, it's okay to close your computer,
And take some time off. Yeah.
reconnect. You forget these things. You don't realize. So, and that messes with your mental state. I heard a story, I'm not sure how true it is. Jeff Bezos, when he started Amazon, I think he registered a URL, which wasn't Amazon.com. It was something like obsession.com or something like that, because that's the kind of attitude that you need to have. For better or worse, no matter whether or not you're, you know, the person that this crush that you're dating now, whether or not they're beautiful in the moment or horrible in the moment, you have to find a way to make it work.
True.
All the
You have
time.
to sacrifice.
You have to sacrifice.
There's a saying بحس كتير هيك على
على الوتر.
إنه هيك على نفس
Okay.
النمط. It's like I like you because I love you despite.
Aha, nice. Yeah, there you go.
So it's like I like you because you bring me passion, you make me dedicated. I love you despite that you drain me,
Yeah.
and it's
That's so
constant. And
Seriously. I used to tell myself, if I'm willing to do this for someone who, you know, quite
Doesn't
frankly, kind of
even-
abuses me
nice. Yeah.
mentally,
صح.
I
Why
can do it for
wouldn't-
myself.
yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
exactly.
I'm بستاهلها أكتر يعني.
Yeah.
I deserve
Exactly.
it more than they do.
صح.
That's not to say that traditional employment is...
لا لا لا.
bad,
ما
like-
we have. I
I'm
think
not gonna go and quit after
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. And I think
Imagine like dear.
I think there are a lot of,
manager.
like I said, there's a lot of benefits to that, especially if you want to become an entrepreneur, because it teaches you the
learn.
right things, the right processes.
Of
Imagine
course.
these multinationals were consulted a lot by a lot of really smart companies on how to do things the best way. So if you're learning from these big, you know, a lot of companies are almost like a university,
Yeah.
you know? So it's, I would recommend that you work in these kinds of places just so you can learn so that you can start
Gain the
applying it.
experience.
Because there's
to
so
your own
much you
company.
can learn. You can learn, how to pitch
Communicate
and how
to
to
people.
talk
Yeah.
to clients. And
Network.
it's all of that because you
Exactly.
can't go
Yeah.
to a client and go like, اسمع أنا هذا اللي بدي لا. You
Yeah.
can't do that. You go
I'm
like,
the best one in the market. طب show us.
Yeah.
يعني it's
Just
so much.
saying.
I قلت like you learn so much from
Yeah, definitely.
when and I feel like أنا for me for example and obviously because as I said no like I do have a lot of business ideas that I want to go for, but I always say no. I am not ready yet. I
Yeah.
still have so much to learn. Like I'm 25. I've been working for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
خلاص that's it. You know.
Yeah.
بس إنه it's just a moment for me اللي هو إنه okay, Dana, it's fine. كل شيء بوقته حلو and you still have so much to learn.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you learn. Wallah, you learn every day. Like
Yeah.
You can
it's-
think of it as kind of like an investment in yourself.
Were you ready, or were you just put in the situation?
I wanted to do it. I was kind of laying the groundwork, and then I was pushed.
Yeah.
That's
So-
your parents يعلموك how to swim.
I was just
Yeah, you're
gonna
like
say.
slowly
look,
putting in
when I was a
Limber.
kid, I went to summer vacation to visit one of my family members. I'm not gonna say the country, but we can kind of guess. Okay, they're known for like mansaf. Okay, I'm not gonna say which country. Okay,
Jordan. Yeah.
I don't know.
He didn't say it.
Anyways, at the time, my cousins were doing swimming lessons, so I went swimming with them, and I saw how they were. I was like 12. In the same pool, they were teaching 2 and 3-year-olds how to swim. You know how they were doing it? They would throw them in the water. That's what happened to me. So I
Yeah.
wanted to do it, and I was sort of
You're just
pushed.
observing. You're like, the water looks good here.
Yeah. I
Let's
want
go
to
around the
swim.
pool. Yeah, you know what?
And then I
I'll
was pushed
wait.
into it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
I think it was needed.
if no, I mean, if I could choose the way to do it, I'm not sure that would have been the best way for me. I kind of wanted to go on my own terms, and I was ready. But it is what it is, and you can't change that, and you just have to kind of move
Yeah.
forward.
So what would you have done differently?
Yeah, the thing that I would have done differently is I would
Yeah.
have had a better idea of how to go to market.
Yeah.
Where was I going to find clients? Now, it's not always easy to do that while you're working full time because you don't have the time to find clients. So you can't leave your job without clients, but you can't have clients with a job that you currently have. It's like a chicken and egg situation.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to manage in that moment. But I think that I would have managed a little differently.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to prolong it a little bit longer.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It is what it is. And to be honest, I'm kind of glad that it happened because, your 30s. So I know that it's never too late, but your 30s are really a special time in your life.
True.
Because this is like your earning potential.
Yeah.
This is when you're young enough to have the energy to really push forward and
And old
experienced
enough.
enough to have, you're old enough to have enough experience.
Yeah.
Had I not been pushed out when I was, I might have wasted more time.
See, the way I look at it is, even though it happened under these sort of circumstances, that was the best time for it to happen, Like, you never really plan.
Yeah.
Like, even if you do plan, sometimes things don't go according to plan,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes it just happens. And when it happens, it feels
خلاص,
right,
you need to, yeah.
خلاص.
بتحس if you took the step in your 20s,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously it would have been much easier because your responsibilities كانوا أقل. But do you regret doing it at a late age? It's not late, obviously, because you're still.
Are you calling me old?
No, حبيب
Ooh.
قلبي لا.
She's calling me old.
I heard that.
كلك شباب.
The way you said it.
But honestly, عن جد, I think it's easier when you launch something in your 20s because you have you don't have any responsibilities. Or
Yeah.
can we tackle that issue? Like, do you think it would have been, how different would it have been?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting point because there's a lot of examples of companies like Facebook that were launched by a 20-year-old and it became Facebook, But in that kind of a situation, he had the product. So me in my 20s, I didn't really have enough experience or knowledge to be able to do anything on my own.
Yeah.
So I might have had the desire to do something on my own, but what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And because I didn't have a product, I didn't create anything, it would have been very hard for me to strike out on my own. How do you convince someone that you're the right person for the job if you've had only 2-3 years of experience?
True.
صح.
It's very hard, And also there are things that you learn along the way. Working with companies, especially multinationals, it's like going to school. So you learn things along the way. You learn things like budgeting. You learn things like learning correct processes, learning the importance of training, learning how to be a good manager. And let's face it, in any company, especially big companies, there are good managers and there are bad managers.
True.
And you learn from the bad managers as well.
That's true.
Like you learn, okay, you know what? When I'm in that kind of a position, I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to do that kind of...
The do's and
Yeah,
don'ts,
because
basically.
you've
exactly,
been there.
Yeah.
You've
So-
been there.
So actually, hold on. I'm going to pull out my phone.
Pull out your
Okay.
phone. Tell us.
I have a whole photo album that I keep called the Business Inspiration.
Nice.
Okay.
Ooh.
And there's a picture here. It's relevant to your question. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. Okay. When I had this question for myself, is mid-30s too late? I found this. Where is this? Sorry, dude. It's
Hasan is being
basically
such a dad right
a
now.
time. I need my glasses. Hold on. Where is this?
He's actually smart.
Dude,
He's filling in the
dude.
space.
Ah, here we go.
Yeah.
This picture is called
Silence.
Too Late to Start. And it shows you that Procter & Gamble was started by a guy named William Procter at the age of 35. For example. Another example, LinkedIn was started by a guy when he was 36. Gap, the clothing store, age 37. Hugo Boss, age 38. Sony, age 38. Zara, age 39. Lenovo,
late.
age 39. So I don't think it's
never too late.
I don't think it's ever too late to start.
100%.
If you have the right idea, the right go-to-market strategy,
Yeah.
then it's never too late or too early.
True.
You just have to kind of time it right.
Yeah.
So here's the cool thing about starting a company. Sorry.
Go
No
for
worries.
it.
If you start a company and you kind of understand the mechanics of it, it becomes easier to start another company when you see a good
Nice.
opportunity.
صح.
Yeah.
And that's something that being an entrepreneur gives you the elbow room for. When you're working 9 to 5 with a very demanding job, it's not 9 to 5. It's sometimes 7 to 7. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You kind of have the... when you're in that kind of situation and you have a good idea, it might not fit with the corporate ethos. You might not be able to bring it to life, which is understandable.
Yeah.
When you're doing your own thing, you kind of bring it to life if you want to, if you find the right kind of people to work with. So, you know, there are things that I've stumbled into where I've partnered with people that I never expected to at all, you know? And it wasn't because, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, opportunities came up with things that, you know, they have a potential to make money, whether or not they're an idea that I would necessarily think about or
Yeah.
be super passionate about.
Yeah.
But because there's a market for it, there's a product for it, you're ready to
You
go.
go for it.
You go for it because you can. You know
True.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not about, like, I know that a lot of people talk about following your passions. It's important to follow your passions.
100%.
You should really follow the customer. And if your customer and your passions align, that's great.
Perfect.
But a lot of times they don't.
Yeah.
A lot of times you have to sit there and say, there's a customer for this, and I can service that customer. It's not necessarily my dream service,
But as long as I'm doing
but
it.
I'm doing it, you know?
Yeah. You're filling the market, the gap in the market,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So
انت وهالجملة.
ما بعرف
like
ليش.
for example, I have like on my bucket list, okay, the thing that I really want to do in my life, I don't know when, but the thing I really want to do is open a bookshop.
Nice. I can
That's
see
so
the
true.
Yes, a small bookstore. Because if it goes under, at least I have books that I can read forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a
like,
goal
like
صراحة. right
imagine
there.
imagine a small bookstore in like a small town where, you know, you might not necessarily be like Kinokuniya turning out books every second, but you're making enough money to sort of pay the bills and you're happy. You know what
True.
I'm saying? That's my dream. I can't do that business now.
No.
Who the hell's gonna buy from me? You know what I'm saying?
What makes you different?
What makes you different? You know, that's a huge risk to take
Yeah.
for something that's not going to pay off. You know what I'm saying? So even though that's my passion, I'm not going to follow that passion if it's
Just
not
not
going
yet,
to
at
make
least.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
كل شيء بوقته حلو.
So it's important to follow your passions, but it's more important to make money
And take
and pay your bills.
take
and
things
support
into
yourself.
consideration. I think
Yes.
you just need to, you know, take things into consideration, but that doesn't mean any. I feel like it depends on your responsibilities and what you have to carry. Is I'm 25 and I'm an artist, right? I'm a painter and all of that. Am I gonna I was let go? Am I gonna go for no? You know what? I'm gonna start selling my paintings and start going for that. I will because I don't have responsibilities. I don't have things to do. I don't have pays to bill,
Yeah.
right? But I would probably go for it. But if I do have responsibilities,
That's a huge luxury. No, that's
wallah,
No.
I was so excited,
I'm
right?
just laughing because you said pays to bill instead of bills to pay.
I mean, it's
I'm
a
really
thought
sorry.
that counts, guys.
I'm really
Pays,
sorry. I'm really sorry.
bills to
but no,
pay.
you were right. You got me going. Honestly, I'm sorry. Go on.
As long as you have.
Please let her idea share.
yeah, please.
as long as stop اللعبة. Pineapple.
But that's
Pineapple
a great luxury. If you're in a position where you don't have to worry about these things and you can kind of really truly follow your passions, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
good for you, yeah.
Yeah,
know?
100%.
But if most entrepreneurs are not in that kind of a situation.
Not in
You
that
know?
luxury, yeah.
Yeah.
This whole story, like,
It's very, very inspiring.
it's very
honestly.
inspiring and it's very interesting. عشان
That to me sounds a little weird, to be honest.
why?
Because I think part of it is because, like I said, I was surrounded by a lot of entrepreneurs. So to me, this is normal.
Yeah.
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 And because a lot of the collaborations that I've done have also been with other entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And so when I look around, I see a lot of people similar to me, and my story is not unique, and it's not
100%.
even the best story out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but تعرف, it's the fact that you're taking the step regardless of the
Yeah.
يعني because there's so much responsibility.
Yeah.
I think this is where to me مثلا إنه it's such a big deal. يعني إنه أنا مثلا my dad is an entrepreneur فاهم علي, and my brother is aiming إنه he's already heading in that
Yeah.
direction. خلاص إنه
It's a family business.
it's
Yeah.
a family business يعني خلاص it's there. It's interesting to me. يعني زي ما انت حكيت, I am like surrounded by people who are entrepreneurs, and إنه خلاص إنه لا بابا go for this, do this, I know you can do this, because I was brought up in this environment, but at the same time, because some circumstances differ from one person to another.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you are surrounded by this thing مثلا إنه you are surrounded by these people, but أنا for me in general, when you have responsibilities and you have to provide and you have to take care of this and you have to take care مدرسة أكل كتير أشياء, you know.
Diapers, man.
Diapers.
Can we just talk about diapers for a second?
By the way, it's been
100%.
such a huge topic.
Pineapple diapers.
Yeah.
Can I tell you why?
Why?
They're expensive and they literally
Collect.
pineapple in them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's money that you're literally
Throwing away.
Yeah.
crapping on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it's supposed, like, you're not even mad because that's the function of the diaper.
Exactly.
Like, you used it correctly. You crapped on the money, you know? Like,
Maybe you should have started a
diaper business.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Reusable diaper.
Like baby stuff, wedding stuff.
Mm.
That stuff never goes away, man.
Nope. Always in demand. Very,
time.
very highly in
Big
demand.
time.
كلم حسن بيطلع career shift.
We'll check his LinkedIn in a week. Diaper and wedding.
But that's why I'm saying, you know, it is inspiring, and I feel like
Yeah.
one of the reasons why we wanted to have this episode is because a lot of people approached us and told us, no, talk to us about someone who quit their job.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, مثلا,
Especially during COVID, it's been such a
a lot of
Yeah.
people were let go and they
let go. They decided to quit, shifting their careers, choosing
Yeah.
themselves. Okay, that's
Hasan,
Yes.
do you want to add anything else?
yeah.
Last moment, last
This is it? Are we done?
an hour.
It's been an hour?
Imagine.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. I do want to add one thing.
Yes.
okay?
Please.
You see my face. You don't see the people behind me that supported me. And
Yeah.
honestly, without them, there's no way that I would have survived even a month. There's no way. No one does it alone.
Yeah.
And I just want to acknowledge that you know these people who basically saved me were, you know, I mean, I don't want this to turn into like an Oscar speech.
لا, it is an Oscar speech.
You know?
Please tell us.
But
Yeah.
I want to thank God. And then- no, but I do want to acknowledge, you know, my parents were basically like and continue to be like my mentors.
That's amazing.
My brother-in-laws. I'm blessed with 3 amazing brother-in-laws. My siblings, like all of them supported. But I have to mention my wife.
That's amazing.
My
Laura,
wife
this is for you.
is not just like an emotional partner. She is my partner. She sits with
In the
me
business.
day to day. We work together. She comes up
Nice.
with the most amazing ideas. She helps really. She has a great way of taking a really messy, cloudy challenge and organizing it in a way that's like, okay, we're gonna. These are the steps that we're gonna take. This is how we're gonna kill it. She comes up with ideas that I would have never come up with. Like she, and more than that, she's like the
Apple of my eye.
she's the pineapple of my eye. No, for real. She saved me not just at work, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah,
She was
that's
truly
amazing.
my partner.
Yeah, you need
And,
someone. You need
yeah.
someone like that.
I'm hoping that when my kids are old enough to watch this and understand. By the way, my daughter she's now 6. She's totally freaking out about the fact that I'm going to be on YouTube.
She's like, oh my god,
So-
embarrassing.
No, she's like, is it going to be on tonight? So
حبيبتي
when they're old enough to watch this and understand, I want them to know that the real hero here is my wife.
Oh,
Really, truly.
it's your mom.
So yeah.
Okay, guys, I think we've reached the end of our episode for today.
And
Yes.
now we're coming to an end.
Yeah, Hasan, thank you
This
so
episode
much.
was brought to you by Akamar, the region's
Yeah, I was just gonna
leading
say.
data digital transformation. No, I'm joking.
Thank you
Shout
so
out,
much.
shout
Thank
out.
you so much for being here with us
Yeah,
today.
Thank you.
honestly.
Guys,
This was an honor.
please hit Hasan up
Up. Yeah.
Hit
appropriately.
up, hit up, not hit. Don't
up,
hit
yeah.
Hasan.
Appropriately. Support local businesses.
Yep.
Yes.
Always.
Dude, this totally transformed how I think about local businesses.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Could
yeah.
imagine.
تصير انت منك لحالك.
Like I go to local coffee shops now.
Yeah.
I go to local bookstores if I can. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
So always support local
Yeah.
businesses.
Do it. Do it for the ground.
Thank you both for this. I had a pineapple good time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We enjoyed having you here.
Thank you.
Sorry, صوتي راح آخر. So once again,
Wow.
thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
This
much.
has
I
been
appreciate it.
amazing.
Thank you.
And we would like to thank M&K Studios for having us, hosting us, and of course, as always.
MNK.
Yes, that sounded better.
Guys, it's been so real.
Yeah,
Hasan,
so real.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Love you. Leave you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.